Landmines and jellyfish. Welcome back to Knives, I guess, and this is why we can't have nice things. But do me a favor and hit that like button, or a homeless guy will pee on your shoes. And for the last week, we've been carrying the Divo Growler. So let's take a look at what we're holding, because it'll bother you if I don't. And you know I'm too kind to you. So first things first, and most importantly, the pocket clip is tip up, which is the Lord's carry. We have got a wire pocket clip. It's reversible. We got the white G10. We got a thumb hole, so let's flick the hole. And we got right about 3.25 inches of 154 cm steel. Give or take, that is pretty close estimate. So, this is one of those things where, you guys, if you've seen the last video, you already know. I absolutely love this thing. I bought a prototype a couple of years ago, and I've been wanting a production version forever. I was told the prototype is the V2. This came in the box for the V1. So we're going with the V1, which is virtually indistinguishable from the V2. Kevin said he changed a couple of small details to address some issues he had with it. So, little bit of questions up in the air, but when I bought this, he said it was the last one that was ever going to be bought. They're all sold. So, I'm happy I jumped on this thing at Blade Show this year. But, you know, I carried that thing off and on. I fell absolutely in love with it. It's one of my favorite knives in the collection. It's one of my favorite just general purpose EDC knives. Very, very good, solid knife. So, I was excited about carrying this thing. I was peeing your pants with excitement. You know, and we've looked at this a few times now, but this is the first time we've done a comprehensive carry and review on this thing. So let's kind of dive into this thing. And one of the first things that I noticed about this when I first started carrying it was how buttery the action is. We are on bearing, so it is drop shut. You know, it does centrifugal open, which I'm always happy to see. And this thing cuts like a bucket of hot damn. You might be able to see here, I have fed it quite a few pieces of cardboard. And this thing is an absolute slicer. This thing slices like crazy, and if you guys have been around for a while, you know I love my blades as slicey as I can possibly get them. I want them to laser through cardboard with absolutely no resistance whatsoever. This did a really, really good job. I fed it a lot of really nasty pieces of cardboard while I was at work. I did a lot of cutting with it. A good bit more than usual, actually. And it handled it quite well. This thing definitely zipped through it like a laser. These were very easy cuts, and I felt in control of them the whole time. Now, before I pushed it through a bunch of cardboard and started putting some wear on the edge, on the plastic wrap on the pallets, it was like cutting water, you guys. It was like cutting water. That edge is just the right amount of fine and just the right amount of toothy that it did a great job with that. And once I cut up a bunch of cardboard with it, and the cardboard that I cut was very, very filthy. It was nasty. It was packed with dirt. After that, it started hanging up and tearing a good bit, but that is to be expected. These things, when you do put some wear on the edge, they definitely don't like cutting the plastic wrap on the pallets anymore. So, you know, it did a good job with that. And ergonomically speaking, it is quite good. I don't know how the ergonomics are going to hold up on Cardboard Slayer yet. They may show up and bite me a little bit, because this is not a wide channel in between this. This is a very thin, flat profile, which I really, really like carrying. But the gap right here between the scales, that is not super chamfered. There's that $5 word again. And no, the price is not going up due to inflation. I promise you. You guys keep telling me it's going to go up, but it's not. But, you know, the gap here, it's not chamfered down really well, so that may cause this part of my finger right here to fall into the gap while I'm doing my push cuts. And that may or may not show up and cause a problem later, but I'm hoping that it takes a long time for that to show up. This thing is too good for it to have massive ergonomic issues. And I mean, as far as general day-to-day use, especially in the pocket, it was a very, very nice, comfortable carry. I didn't really notice it all that much. The pocket clip is about a medium strength. I'd give that pull about 6 out of 10. You know, the dingus end here is raised up enough that it's easy as hell to get it over the hem of a pocket, no problems whatsoever. I will say this thing took a lot of black marks because I had the Woobin G5 floating loose in my pocket with it, and you can kind of see where the paint stinged off a little bit. That paint went right here. And I cleaned it off with acetone. There's still a little bit of staining left, but thankfully we don't do Save Queens around here very often, so I'm really not that worried about it. The prototype I would have been upset about, but the production version, nah. Let's take a look at where our edge is sitting after doing all that with the cardboard and the cuts. Let's get the flyer paper out first. So we have still got a clean low resistance cut, but towards the front where the cutting started, of course, we see some wear and tear on the edge. But not much. Not much at all. Let's see if we can get some printer paper out and show anything different on the edge. This may show a little more ragged, hairy edge. It's still a really nice cut. There's not a lot of rag on there or anything else, and that's good to see because I definitely gave her what for cutting. Now, let's get out the electronic edge tester that you guys kindly provided through your super chat donations, channel memberships, what have you. Let's see where this is sitting, and let's see where we're going to start Cardboard Slayer up at. Now, how this works, if you haven't seen one of these before, by some odd miracle, is it measures the number of grams of force it takes to cut through the wire on this calibrated test clip. The lower the number, the better. I wouldn't be surprised to see it a little under 200, not a ton, but a little bit. But let's see where we are. Let's see where we're at. We're going to test it right here where a lot of the cuts started, and we'll see how it's doing. No! This thing is really sensitive, you guys. 182. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. That was a good guess, you guys. I'm getting pretty good at guessing those things based on what the paper looks like. And of course, that tester, it's a good ballpark idea of where the edge is. It's not going to be super, super accurate because variables will affect it. But that 182 is not too bad at all after what I've put it through. Like I said, there's a lot of cardboard that it went through. So I'm really, really happy to see that. You know, and it's one of those things where I didn't know I needed this until I had one, and I missed out on getting the production version because they disappeared a little bit too fast for me, and I was not aware that like Divo does small runs and they sell out like that. Divo's got a lot of fans for a good reason. Like, Kevin designed some really good knives. So far, everything I've had I've really, really liked. You know, and I just, oh my God, it was so good carrying this thing, and I'm going to miss having it on me when I move on to the next one. You'd think I would, however, you got to see the next one that's coming up. Like, oh my God, it's going to be so good. But, you know, I can't think of a lot else to add about this thing before I'm padding out the runtime. Really, I am in love with this thing. I fell even more in love with it when I'm not so scared of heavily using it because my prototypes are kind of my shelf queens. The prototypes are the ones that not quite grail, but very aspirational because prototypes are a bit harder to track down. They don't hold the kind of value a lot of people in the community really perceive because, you know, apparently collecting prototypes and going actively after prototypes is not really as big of a thing in the collector's market than it is going after grails. But for me personally, the prototypes are kind of the holiest of holies just because they're harder to get. They're harder to get, and there may be some differences between those and the production runs. So that's just where I'm at as a collector. You know, I love a good solid knife, but prototypes are my jam. But now that I can carry one of these and use it fearlessly, oh man, it was so good. But yeah. That's everything I can think of to share with you guys about this. Of course, Cardboard Slayer is coming up, so stay tuned for that. That should be in the next 24 hours-ish of recording this video. Or actually, no, it'll be later on in the day. I'm uploading this the morning after I record it, so same day. But, you know, this thing is just fantastic. So, all that being said, thanks for looking at my crap. Subscribers, you guys are awesome. Y'all keep coming in. I appreciate you so much. If you haven't subscribed, please do. We got live streams, regular videos. There's plenty of activities. Comments. I love some feedback. Let me know what you think about this thing or anything else. And, of course, I have my Amazon shop linked. You don't have to use it, but it's the best way I've found to show you cool stuff that I have found over the last couple of months here. And all that being said, y'all have a nice day.